Hello guys, I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, yesterday I made a report or a video on the story that dropped 2 days ago out there in California at a place called, let me get my notes right, Newport Beach, at a fashion mall, and which a woman who was a New Zealand tourist wound up losing her life in a botched robbery attempt in which the robbers ran over her with the car in their attempt to escape after the robbery went awry. And there were 3 assailants. This woman was ran over in front of her husband, which in itself is a totally messed up thing. They left one of the assailants. He had to shoot the gun to get people away from him to run away, but all 3 of these people were caught. Now, I did the story yesterday, and some more news came out, but it's mainly about the suspects, and it talks a little bit about who they were and where they were from. And I want to show you this video, and then when we come back, I want to really talk about how easy it is for people to be influenced to do negative stuff, and how hard it is for them even wrap their head around doing anything positive in life. Take a look at this and we'll be right back.
Now to the very latest info about the woman who was killed after an attempted robbery at Fashion Island in Orange County. Happened yesterday afternoon. Newport Beach police identified her as 68-year-old Patricia McKay, a tourist from New Zealand. NBC4's Amber Frias live at Fashion Island with more for us tonight. Amber?
Good evening. We've tried reaching out to the family, but we haven't heard from them yet. We did hear from the Auckland deputy mayor. This is the city where the couple is from, and she told NBC4 that the entire city council is very heartbroken over the news. Now, meanwhile, here at the mall, the community has taken it upon themselves to set up a memorial for Patricia. A growing memorial at Fashion Island in Newport Beach for 68-year-old Patricia McKay, who was visiting from New Zealand with her husband and was killed Tuesday during an attempted robbery outside the Barnes & Noble.
Nerves or the adrenaline were a little high.
The sidewalk is adorned with flowers and a heartfelt note from a stranger expressing their condolences.
I feel sad.
Shoppers are also paying extra attention to their surroundings.
We had a long talk last night about how things like this can happen a little bit more frequently.
Newport Beach police say 2 men got out of a white sedan and tried to rob the couple. There was some sort of fight, and that's when police say Patricia McKay was struck and killed by the driver of the getaway car as the men left the mall. One of the men fired 3 shots. Her husband witnessed it all, but police say he was not injured.
Terrible thing, obviously. Feel terrible for the people that were victims.
Patricia McKay and her husband, who colleagues have identified as Doug, both lived in Auckland, New Zealand. Doug is a former Auckland Council chief executive. During a council meeting today, Deputy Mayor Desley Simpson shared some words.
The most sincere condolences to the McKay family, and I ask if you could join me in standing for a minute's silence.
The McKay family has released a statement to the New Zealand Herald. It reads, quote, "No words can express our sadness as we try to come to terms with the loss of our mother, wife, and friend, Patricia," end quote. Following the attack, police arrested 3 men. 2 of them were arrested after a pursuit that ended in Southgate. The 3rd man was arrested in Cyprus. 26-year-old Leroy McCrary of Compton, 18-year-old Jaden Cunningham of Lancaster, and 18-year-old Malachi Edward Darrell of Los Angeles. We've learned McCrary has a criminal history which includes robbery of a tourist at gunpoint in Santa Monica in 2022.
It's become
It's a little more shaky.
Back in Newport Beach, the community is left to grapple with the tragedy.
We gotta continue to live without the fear.
Yeah.
You know, this happen everywhere now.
An Orange County DA, Todd Spitzer, also released a statement in which he criticized Governor Newsom for his crime policies. Now, this is still an ongoing investigation. Anyone with any information is urged to call police. Live in Newport Beach, Amber Frias, NBC4 News.
Guys, that's the story of what happened to Miss Patricia McKay. May she rest in peace, 69 years old, from New Zealand. And thus contributing further to the stereotype that American blacks are violent in nature and unruly and savage. But that's neither here nor there. The reason why I'm doing this video is because I want to talk about the 3 people that they arrested. These are all younger folk. 2 of them are still teenagers. And these people are as follows. Leroy Ernest, kind of name is that? Leroy Ernest McCrary, age 26, from Compton, California. Jaden Cunningham, age 18. He's from Lancaster, California. Malachi Darnell, age 18, from LA, California, Los Angeles, California. And you got 3 people from 3 different towns in California coming together for one common goal, causing destruction and thievery. It's amazing how this guy is 26 years old. In a normal world, from a mental state, he would be light years ahead of these 2 teenagers that ain't even full-fledged adult yet at age 21. You know, we talk about a lot of times, you know, the word grooming, as far as like saying it's somebody like, it's always like something sexual behind that, or like, you know, like a predator or something like that, grooming a child to do whatever he wants to do with him. It's the same thing with crime. It is. You get a lot of these older people out here that these younger people look up to. They want to live up to a certain way, and they use kids as crash dummies. And, you know, they allow themselves to be such. And they put them in a position to do things that they talk about they did, but ain't no proof that they did it. And they get these kids to go along with them, and almost a rite of passage to prove yourself type of thing. And it's crazy how a 26-year-old man would hang with an 18-year-old kid. When I was 26 years old, I couldn't even see. If you had teen in your name at the end of your age, the word teen, I wouldn't even mess with you. Like a little boy to me. It's like nowadays, man, it's like no differentiation in age, because the mindset is what the mindset is. They from 3 separate towns. How'd they meet each other? How did they know each other? Mutual interest? Were they locked up together? How? And whose idea was it to go out there and go rob some people in broad daylight and think that nothing was going to happen? It's like nowadays, these younger folks are risking their freedom and their lives for trinkets. You ran up on a lady and tried to take a bag from her. You don't know what was in the damn bag. That's like having a mystery box and you go up and kill somebody because you can't risk the temptation of finding something in there and hopefully it's to your liking and have some type of worth. You see people going through all these different stores stealing stuff to try to resell it, or stealing stuff just to have it. And then a lot of the stuff they have has no real value to anybody unless they have a certain mindset in which these intricate things have value. Clothes, shoes, cars, like killing people over the stupidest stuff that you can go out and get yourself. You're still young. No male guidance. And the male guidance that they do have is sending them straight to the plantation or, you know, to their own oblivion. It's a shame. And this is like some of the things we really need to talk about. People need to vet who their children are around. And for this to happen and for them to fall under the influence of other people of like mind to go out and do something like that, a lot of that is fear of living. It is. I know people that say they want to get their life right, and you'll tell them in plain detail, as simple as you can, because you know their limitations. Do A, then do B, then do C. You can do it all in a day and then just sit back and don't do what you're doing right now. Can't do it. There are people that want you to do the work for them so they can reap the benefits because you their friend or you their family or you and them got a closeness and they depend on you and the stuff. I can't walk for you. If I'm up here and you can see me and I got my hand extension, just stick your hand out. Once we grab hands and I pull, you got to climb. Some people don't want to do that. A lot of times you're seeing these people doing this stuff because they're afraid of living. They are, like the rest of us. Getting out here, working for what you want. Using your creativity to get somewhere. These people came from New Zealand on a vacation. Do you have any idea how expensive it is to come to America on vacation? You know, try to go to France, try to go to UK from here. Expensive. I try to go from one of them places. Oh wait, they came from New Zealand. That's close down there near Australia. That's a hell of a flight and super expensive. And they paid to come all the way up here. And the wife lost her life in a violent way. Make it make sense. Before I leave out of here, I found a video of the police chase. It's about 5 minutes long, where the helicopter and the news are following these people in the car. Look how stupid they look when they was caught. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.
We're going to go to some breaking news. A police pursuit underway for a possible murder suspect connected to that shooting in Newport Beach.
Desmond Shaw is live in SkyCal with the latest for us. Desmond.
Copy. Oh, Amy and Juan, this is a very dangerous pursuit here as we're getting into the height of afternoon rush hour westbound on the 105. You can see here, look at this, over 100 miles an hour on the left-hand shoulder in the center divider. They're blasting by some pretty slow traffic on this one. So this is the one that Mike was just telling us about that began in Orange County. We believe was a suspected shooting at the Fashion Island Mall.
Oh.
And it was Newport PD. Well, I think he might have
Did
gone
you
up
see
against
that?
the center
Yeah.
divider right there. Yeah, that was pretty scary, almost lost control. So we believe that there may be multiple people in the car, obviously suspected to be armed and dangerous. It was Newport PD that was behind them on the ground, but there are no ground units directly behind the suspect at this point. Huntington Beach was lending their helicopter from the air as we're now over to the far right-hand shoulder. Pretty desperate suspect here. I think I see maybe a little bit of damage from brushing up against the center divider here. So we are westbound on the 105, and we may be exiting the freeway here at Paramount, Juan and Amy.
Yeah, and we should remind our viewers that might not have seen the top of the show that this was a shooting that happened at Fashion Island Mall in Newport Beach around 3:30 this afternoon.
Right, 3:39 p.m. is what time they got that call. Metronet Dispatch, which handles the dispatching for Newport Beach Fire, tells me that they did not transport anybody and that somebody
Out of the
did
car.
die.
Here we
Oh,
go.
they're getting
Foot bail.
Out of the car.
They're running.
Yep, out and running. Yep. We've got multiple suspects. Is this guy holding a gun? Well, he got something in his hand here, but they are out. You see one of them wearing a mask as well. They are out and running at the top of the Paramount off-ramp now, making this turn on to Paramount. We will stick with them here, but again, we did not see any authorities on the ground. Let's hope they're not going to try to carjack somebody right here as they run across traffic, and we'll just keep the map tracker up on this one now as they're on Lincoln Avenue. I believe this is going to be Lincoln Avenue. We'll see if the suspects split up.
They did.
They might be splitting up here. We're gonna stick with this one right here that we have that's running into the alley, running pretty fast. We'll see how far they can. Oh boy! My pilot Dylan just told us that this person down here did just try to carjack somebody allegedly. Now you can see up there looking at us. So we're in a backyard here. Pretty scary stuff with someone that we believe may be armed with a handgun.
And these are possible murder suspects, right, Mike?
Right. Yeah. I mean, these are homes. So before we got to where we're at now, before Desmond got overhead, they did stop and let several other people out of the car. So this is the second time they have stopped. So it's obviously unclear which one of these allegedly pulled the trigger, if that is any of these two people, or if the person who is accused of pulling the trigger took off first. But that's a phone in his hand.
Oh,
looks
no.
like, Des, yeah.
Yeah.
Going right up to
now
these
we do it.
houses. Of course, these
So-
people may be unaware who is in their backyard and how dangerous this is if, in fact, this is the person with a gun. We did say that it looked like it was a phone, but we do know that there was a shooting earlier. We don't know which of the suspects was involved in that shooting, but we do know that they were all in the car. Mike, you mentioned that 2 had already gotten out, and 2 we just watched as 2 ran out, including that one that was in the
There's
gray
some action right there,
sweatsuit
Des.
in that backyard.
Oh, yeah, there he is right in the backyard. The good news is right now I'm looking, we've got Huntington Beach PD's helicopters over this, as well as CHP is now here too. So hopefully they can split up. And Des, now we've got a homeowner in the backyard.
I think it's that house right there.
Yes.
And I think he's under that awning, yeah.
No, you're good. Yeah, right under the awning. I think I just saw him here right up against the fence. And there is it looked like a husky in the backyard.
There's a resident
Here
right there.
is someone else. Yeah, this guy.
Oh, yeah, he
that
let
guy
his
wanted to know
dog
what all
out.
the commotion is. Yep, with so you got dogs in both yards here. That's why, these suspects, sometimes they just go willy-nilly thinking they can hop in the backyard. They might really regret that, getting a dog bite or something. But Huntington Beach PD, they are aware of this from the air. Let's just widen out, though. I've not seen anyone on the ground. The closest unit that I saw was actually an LA County Sheriff's deputy, but I'm not even sure that they were involved in this pursuit at all. We had heard that it was Newport Beach PD, but now in the backyard, as we're getting a little bit vertical here, we'll back off here once we get a second. But yeah, the two suspects split up, it looks like, into varying backyards here, just off of Harding and Paramount Avenue, guys.
And a lot of homes in this neighborhood too, of course. We're watching you here on the right side of your screen here. This is where these two suspects just foot bailed. They saw some traffic there as they were trying to get off the freeway, and they started running, splitting up for just a little bit of time, and now ending up in possibly inside a home here, or in the backyard of a home here in this area here, which is the area of Harding Avenue and Hoover Avenue in the Southgate, Los Angeles area. Very dangerous. If you are in this neighborhood, definitely you're going to be hearing the helicopters up above. You may hear some police making announcements over a loudspeaker, something to be concerned about. And make sure those doors are locked, because you can see how quickly these guys move, and they can make it into your house before you know it.
And unfortunately, a pretty perfect opportunity for them with no law enforcement at all behind them. They gave them that opportunity to get out of the car and run. And the most problematic part is that they split up. So now we still have not seen any ground units, which is an incredibly long amount of time from the time they got out of the car.
Yeah, this is certainly a scary time for the folks that live in this neighborhood, because, as we mentioned, they don't necessarily know what's happening. Right. They didn't hear the sirens coming up. They might not hear the police. Unfortunately, helicopters above in LA, aren't so uncommon. So